Hey guys, today I will be showing you guys the process that I went through into making this oversized Polaroid t-shirt that I got, oversized sweater that I got from Fashion Nova into a two-piece set. So I think the size that it came in was a 2X. I wish I would have probably got like a 3X to make it a little longer, but you guys will see the length and everything towards the end of the video. But basically what I'm doing now, I'm just making sure my seams on the sides are lined up and like the sleeves are lined up and stuff like that. So then when I get ready to cut it in half, it'll be even and to the length I kind of want it. And I was kind of trying to fix my music at that time, so yeah, I'm just making sure everything's straight before I cut it in half. Okay, so here is where I actually started cutting. Off camera, I, kind of decided where I wanted to cut it, and I decided to cut it between the I and the D because I felt like that would make the top long enough because I didn't want it to be too short to where, all of my undergarments and stuff like that would be showing. And, I wanted enough room to where when I put elastic and everything in it, that it would fit right. Okay, so at this point, I've flipped the sweater inside out, and this is where I'm going to kind of eye where I want to fold the bottom portion of the sweater to be able to glue it together to make a little gap to where I'm gonna put the elastic band through. And I'll go more into detail about how long it takes the glue to dry and all that good stuff. Okay, so this is the fabric glue that I use. It's called Fabric Fuse, and I got it from Walmart. Off the top of my head, I believe it was $6. And honestly, the huge downside to this, I should have thought about this, is it takes 4 to 6 hours for this stuff to dry. And also, you have to be very careful because, if you get it on your rug or something like that, you are not gonna be able to get it out, and it's going to leave a stain. Also, being that it takes a little bit of time for it to dry and everything like that, if you mess up a little bit, just make sure you get off the glue as best as you can, because once that stuff dries, you have to rip it apart to get it to come apart. So make sure you know where you want to put it and make sure it's right, because once it dries, it's hard to take it off.
AB on the track, yeah.
Okay, so as you guys can see, I'm kind of coming to an end here, and once I do get to the end, one thing I do want to say is leave a space. So whatever side you want to stop at, whatever, just make sure you leave a little bit of space, because that is the space that you're going to bring your elastic band through. And then if you want to, which I did not do, but if you want to, you can either glue that space after you put the elastic band through, or you can just leave it open, because you're not really going to see it, to be honest, so it's not really that big of a deal. Okay, so this is where things got really complicated for me, and let me explain why. So pretty much I have a little Fashion Nova romper right here, and pretty much what this is for is because I love the way this romper fits my body. And the simple fact that I want the skirt to fit the exact same way, that's why I'm using this as kind of like a guideline to where I want to cut, so it can kind of fit the same way that this romper fits. But where I ran into some issues at is because I only cut one side of this skirt. So the simple fact that I only cut one side and not both sides to match the shape of the romper, it kind of messed up what I was going for. And you'll basically, like, it all makes sense when I explain it more at the end of the video. But pretty much I'm just basically lining up the romper so I can go ahead and make my cuts to kind of fit the way I want it to fit. Okay, so the next part of what I'm doing here is I'm cutting both sides of the skirt, because this is where I'm gonna flip the skirt inside out, and basically I'm just gonna glue the sides of it together, and that's basically what's gonna basically make the bottom of the sweater into a shirt. Like, I don't really know how to explain anymore. So this is like the first side I'm cutting, the first side that I'm cutting, and just cut it straight up. Okay, make it as straight as you can, because you don't want your like glued parts, I'm so sorry if you heard me swallow, but you don't want your glued parts to be all weird looking, and you want your skirt to be as even as possible. Okay, so this is the part, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm always yelling. This is the part where I flipped it inside out, and this is where you want to make sure the bottom of it is lined up. Oh my gosh, like, I realized it after the fact that I didn't have the bottom lined up, and my OCD was having a whole seizure. Like, just make sure your sides are lined up the best way you can. It's not really important, actually, because you won't be able to see that it's not lined up. But make sure that you have the bottom of it lined up, okay? And then just go ahead and do your gluing process and all that stuff. Okay, so it's the next day, and I honestly did not pay attention to the simple fact that I got none of this part in the camera lining. Like, you can't see none of this, so I'm so sorry. But basically what I was just doing was just lining up my elastic with my skirt to make sure that I had enough space to where I glue it, so I can have enough space to have the elastic go through for the skirt portion. Okay, so this is later on that day after the glue had dried in the skirt, and this is pretty much where I'm going to show you how I put the elastic through. I honestly had forgot to show you guys on camera of how I did the shirt, because the shirt was already finished, and pretty much I did it off camera. I measured it to my waist and how it would fit on my, or how I wanted to fit on my waist. Okay, so these are some pins that I got from Walmart. I honestly do not remember how much they were, but I'm going to take whatever size I kind of feel like I need, or what I feel is gonna fit pretty comfortable when I attach it together with the other side of the elastic band. So I decided just to get like a kind of small one, not the smallest one, but the one that's a little bit bigger than the smallest one that's in the container. So as I'm slowly getting to, I will put it at the end of the elastic band, and basically as I pull it through the hole that I made or the spacing that I made, I will feel for it as I kind of guide it through to the other opening end of the skirt. So this is where I pretty much start this process.
AB on the track, yeah.
Okay, so I finally got it to the other end of the opening of the skirt, and this is where I'm kind of like straightening it out so all of like the wrinkled end isn't on one end. I want it to be pretty even, so the safety pin will be on the opening side, just in case I do want to switch safety pins or I want to switch the elastic band. I won't get it lost within where the material is closed at. So make sure that you have it pretty even to where the safety pin is on the outer portion where you have your opening. Also, another thing I forgot to mention is the reason why I'm using a safety pin to kind of tie my elastic band off is because I could not find my sewing material. So what I would suggest is sewing the two ends together, and then you don't really have to worry about, you know, the safety pin coming unloose. But this was an easier way for me to be able to keep the elastic band together until I do find some more sewing thread and all that good stuff. Okay, so this is the finished look, and do you see what I'm talking about when I said it was short? The one thing I do recommend is wearing like some shorts that are, you know, kind of shorter than the skirt, kind of like a skirt. So I mean, I feel like I cut enough. Now that I'm like looking at it, when I was finished with it, I felt like I cut enough off, because if I had it any tighter, I feel like it would have been way too short. Like it would have been way shorter than that. But you know, this is the finished look. I felt like the top came out so perfect, and of course I was super happy and celebrating because I did not expect it to come out this cute. But if you guys like this video and you like this look, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, do not forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you guys get notified every single time I post. And I will see y'all in the next video.